Chair Rudolph, we're ready when you are.
At this time, I will call the April 9th, 2024 Public Arts Commission meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Travis,
Here.
Commissioner Mojica, Commissioner Herrera,
Present.
Vice Chair Liebelt,
Here.
Chair Rudolph.
Here.
Let the record show Commissioner Mojica is absent.
Public comment. Public comment is the opportunity for members of the public to comment on any item not appearing on the agenda. Please state your name and residence for the record. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Are there any requests to speak at this time?
Chair, we do have 2 requests to speak. Bob McKechnie, if you could please join us at the podium.
I'm Bob McKechnie. I am a resident of Cathedral City, and I've lived here for 25 years. That's the longest I've ever lived any place, and I really love living here. We lived in the first 2 years over in Palm Springs, and then we came rushing over here and bought a beautiful house. So this is the thing. I'm the founder and coordinator of the Cathedral City Peace Initiative. And I've given you some material there that kind of give you some idea of what we do. Karen Riley is my colleague. She really is, she's the intelligence of the group, and she provides really a lot of ideas, and especially around art. The reason I'm here is because I want you to know what we are and what we do, and we also want to get ideas from you or thoughts about how we can enhance our visibility using art. So our problem is, in my view, we aren't visible enough. So another thing I'd like you to do is to tell everyone. And I forgot to give you, but we have little refrigerator magnets for your refrigerator, so you'll be reminded that we have that. And that is about it for today. You want to add something?
You're good. I have to come back up.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I really admire what you do. Bob and one of his cohorts are down at the bell tower every Wednesday morning getting everybody who drives through Cathedral City Central a chance to honk if they believe in the peace.
And we wave if they honk.
Yes, and it's
If
very
we
admirable.
don't, we shun them.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of your artwork, your peace staffs.
Thank you.
They're very, very nice, and they do get the
Thank
word
you.
out. So keep
And
up the
then
good work.
The thing about art is that September 21st is World Peace Day, and we have an event. It's at the Senior Center, and this year it's on a Saturday. And Kieran does an art show with the art from the students from Cathedral City and elsewhere, and it's peace art. So first of all, I'd love to have you all attend that event. It's very easy and it's free and all that. And we have a little talk about peace and the possibilities for creating a peaceful world. I have to say that we started in 2022, and we've been working earnestly to establish peace, and things are much worse in the world now than they were when we started. And so we have to work harder, I think.
I have a question.
Other questions?
Yeah. Do you have a time and place that the Bee Initiative, is it like a club? Is it a group? When does it meet?
What did she ask?
The peace. We have a meditation every week, every Wednesday.
At 3 o'clock on Wednesday. And if you can't attend the meditation, we'd like to ask you to have your own little period of time where you focus on world peace. And then we do this demonstrating. And also we worked with the police to make a workshop to help senior citizens avoid being victims of violence. There are steps you can take to reduce the possibility that you'll be a victim of violence. And we're working on some other ideas right now. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McKechnie.
And now we have Karen Riley.
Thank you. Karen Riley, Executive Director of the Scrap Gallery in Cathedral City. I just wanted you to be aware of a community project we've been working on for the Invisible Wounds 22K this weekend on Saturday at the soccer park. We've created 2 panels with 22 individual recycled cardboard squares that artists, students from all over Southern California have created, and we will have them on display at the event. And we will also have an area where the public can create their own squares if they like to create another panel with us. The 2 panels that we've already created, one will be going to the VFW, and the other one will be going to the family of the veteran that the walk is dedicated to. So these are just a few examples of what will be on display. They're all varied, and the Scrap Gallery wanted to do something to contribute, so that's why we started with the recycled cardboard square. So I hope you can come out and make a square and take a look at what they've created. Thank you. Yes.
Karen, this goes from what time to what time?
Sunshine.
It's going to go from 7 to about 2 o'clock.
7 to 2?
Yeah. It'll be there the whole time, and we will have plenty of cardboard squares, so come out and make something.
The
Thank
work
you.
looks wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Chair, we do not have any more requests to speak at this time.
Are there any items on the agenda that need to be pulled or continued to a future meeting?
We have none, Chair.
Then at this point, I'd like to approve the minutes of the March 12th, 2024 meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes?
Yes, I'd like the minutes to reflect that the ad hoc committee that's for for the PACE is actually Liebelt and Mojica, not Liebelt and Herrera. And with that, I'd like to make a motion.
Are there any requests to speak on the minutes other than that?
I did not receive any requests to speak. If you're a member of the public and you wish to comment on this item, please raise your hand. I see none. Have to ask. So we have a motion by Commissioner Herrera,
And I'll second.
second by Vice Chair Liebelt. I'll go ahead and start the vote.
Oops, sorry.
Please vote.
Gotcha.
And motion carries all ayes with Commissioner Mojica absent.
Great. We'll move on to the agenda at this point. Agenda item number, I guess we're taking them out of order? No. There is no agenda item number 1. Now, agenda item number 2, disguising as agenda item number 1, will be the approval of the Ocotillo Bench Project process and budget. A call for artists, process and timeline has been drafted for the Commission's review. The Bench Project Subcommittee has been working with the Public Works and on a proposed timeline and an effective way to prepare the benches. Staff is recommending that the city contract with a painter to prime and top coat all the benches to ensure their longevity. The proposed budget for the project is below. The number was incorrect on the agenda. It's actually 24 benches at $500 apiece. So that new number will be for the prep work. It'll be $4,150, and the total budget for the project will be $16,150. Okay. Vice Chair Liebelt, would you like to report about the alternate timeline you are suggesting at this point?
There was a group chat with the city, and we came up with some dates. And initially, we were looking at the end of September, the 1st of October. And as we all know, the weather can still be a bit warm in September going into October. I just checked with Ryan Hunt with the city to see if that we pushed it back, that it would be fine. And he said any date before the 27th would be okay. So we originally looked at the city would prep them, just say like on a Friday morning, so then artists would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the entire weekend to be able to work on them. And then once they're done, then they would come and do the sealing process. And then we looked at doing some sort of celebratory event the following weekend. So we can decide now Here I put it, the alternative dates would be that the 4th, 5th, and 6th, but it might actually be better, I think, maybe to do it 11th, 12th, 13th to paint them, and then the following weekend to do the celebratory event.
And that's October or September?
October. Just given also, like whenever, this gives us also a September meeting to come back and not maybe also an October meeting to come back if there's anything else we need to decide, if there's any changes or anything we encounter over the summer. You guys have this in the timeline. What we were sort of setting at is if we approve it tonight, this money to go to the city council for approval, then we could get started on at least putting out the call for artists so that we could hopefully have applications, all submissions due by the end of May 31st. We'd have the summer, June, July to review, be able to get it to the city. I have a copy of their schedule of meetings, hopefully by the middle of August. They can, if they approve who we've selected, then we can get it to the artists. So that way, that gives them even a month, almost 2 months to like prep and be ready to roll for that, to have them painted. I'm just really happy to report that so many people are interested in, doing submissions. There's been a great, just pre-response so far. I think, and I also like that submissions are coming from like all sectors. We've looked at the possibility, if students or younger people under 18, you'll see in the submission form, then it would have to have like parents' approval. I was just approached again by a parent that has two like 12-year-old twin boys. I'm just excited to see that people are excited to do it. And since there's so many benches in a variety of areas, I'm also recommending that people go to the park, kind of tour. I know some people have gone to preview benches, and we can request them. We are going to have a schematic with all the benches numbered so that benches can be assigned for different reasons. I've also, I've talked to Karen again about this. I've talked to Scott at the Boys and Girls Club. They're on board. The PACE Commission also on board to help in any way they can be supportive. So it's just been really great. So I think this is going to be a really fun project. And I think now it's just being able to get this approved so we can take to the city council with these timelines now. So I guess tonight we just have to look at it. We can decide which of those dates in October that we'd like to do to actually do the painting, and then the celebration the following weekend, and then we're set.
Great.
Any questions?
Are there any requests to speak on this item?
I did not receive any requests to speak, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to comment on this item, please raise your hand. And I see none, Chair.
Do we have any comments from the commission?
Yes, so I did watch the PACE Commission meeting from last week, and so I know we brought this to them to work with us on this, and how are they going to be working? Because I know we keep extending our hands like, oh, you can help us out, but it's not really clear how we're getting them involved.
I think for parks, the community event part, when we do the unveiling and launch it that way, we were talking a little bit earlier about, I think that's probably the only way. I think it's going to be probably challenging enough for us, the five of us, if over the summer, if we have to get together, if we're technically dark, we're going to have to pull special meetings together to do that, to review that many artists and to narrow it down.
Yeah, if we have to have another subcommittee from PACE come over to also give approval, it won't work. I can't see it
So is there
working.
any way, you said there's 24, is there any way this commission can pick 12 and they can pick the other 12? Like pieces, how can we get them involved? Because I would really like them to be involved.
I think it's the roles of the commissions, and it's our role to do the aesthetic part of this, and so they can be involved in the community event part of this. It's like, were they involved in anything with the bridge?
But we never asked them to be part of anything with the bridge.
So this was more of a formality. We were just going to inform them of what was happening because it is at a community, a park. We didn't ask them directly help us select the artists. It was more like an informative thing, just to go talk to them, let them know what was happening. They just offered that. And actually I was like, oh, surprised. I was like, oh, okay. But then I really think I see it more as we can work together to do an event, to celebrate that,
So
what
you're
happening.
using more for the event then?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
Yep,
and
yep.
then we're talking about using the Boys and Girls Club. What does that mean?
Scott, if they would be interested, that means they're probably going to submit to paint benches. I mean, just do for, to do a artist submission.
Okay, but we're not really guaranteeing them, right? Because we're just going to treat them like everybody else in the community bringing it in, right? Like, I just want to make sure that's what's coming
Yeah,
across.
but we will all approve these, just with Scrap Gallery also, what they bring to us. We will get, as we did with the bridge and the library bench project before, we will get all of the applicants in, we'll see what their work looks like, and as a group, the 5 of us will decide what it is that we're going to see in that park.
Correct. I just want to make sure that, when you guys say we're going to work with the Boys and Girls Club, what exactly that means, right? Because I wasn't too sure what the Pace Commission, what that meant. So we're going to use them for the community event.
Correct.
Okay.
And after we do choose the art, there would be no problem I could see of us sharing that with the Pace Commission to show them what it is that the art's going to look like. I don't see where that's a problem.
Well, my question also is like when you say choosing the art, I mean, when we're basing this down, we're going to choose the 12 people or 24 people, whoever are doing the benches. I'm not really sure how that's going about, but are they going to submit like 2 pieces of art or 3 pieces of art, and then we choose one of the art pieces that did we give them? Because I know when we did the bridge, the Bring Us Bridge, we actually gave them like a theme. And so we're not really going with themes of this, right?
Correct.
So are they going to be
Just
submitting?
like they did for the public library, they didn't give a theme. Yeah.
So are they going to give like 3, or are you just going to be like, oh,
They're going to give us, in the submission,
Okay.
so we're requesting like 3 or 4 examples of their work, and they have to give us a strong idea of what they're going to do with the bench. That's why there are photographs of the bench, and there's dimensions of the bench, and I'm suggesting people literally go walk the park and look at the bench so they understand.
so we're not going to see what they're doing on the bench before they do it?
Yes, that's part going to be what the submission is.
So we are going to see what they're
Yes,
doing? And then,
yes.
So are we going to pick them based on those, or are we going to pick them based on they submitting their 3 examples?
I think, though, we can decide that now, but I'm just saying, based on what they're showing us, is going to be showing us what their idea is, and if it doesn't specify, we can say and do a particular drawing for the bench.
Okay, so I'm going to try to communicate this different. So
Okay.
when the person puts in their application, they're going to give us 3 examples of their work, correct? So are we going to pick them based off of that? And then the person is going to then give us an example of what they're putting on the bench? And then what if we don't like what they're putting on the bench? Do we pick somebody else?
Why don't, I would suggest that we just have them do a design that they want to propose for a bench.
That's
That's
what I
it.
just
And then we select it or we don't select it.
So is that going to be
Yeah.
the proposal that they're putting with
It's going to
this?
be in this submission. They're going to show us what their work is, and then they're going to show us a design of what they're going to do.
So what they're going to put on the bench? And
Yes.
then from that, we'll choose?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
that's a great
And I think the
question.
form, if I read it right, it has some things in there where they could talk about their art experience or something, if they have it or not. And they don't have to have it, but it might give you a little more idea what they...
Ann and I kind of, discussed that a little bit too, because again, if there was a younger person
Yeah,
doing
you wanna-
this,
you wanna
yes, they're not
encourage
going to
them.
have that. So we're going to all, take that into consideration, right?
Okay.
Yep. as a
I have
group.
an idea for like the PACE people, like once we have selected like the 24, maybe bring them in and say, where are they going to go? Like with a placement of them or something, or would that be already determined by the people?
Christina, this is where it gets tricky about the 2, if we were to bring in the PACE, anybody, it can't be the entire, can it be the entire? No.
No.
No, but what you
What are
could,
the rules?
but what you could do is you could show them the examples of what they are, of the 24 examples, and they may have ideas of where they might like to locate
Well, I
them.
think what they can do and how the ad hoc committee is supposed to be set up is you 2 are supposed to be talking to 2 of their commission. Those 2 take it back to their commission. So you guys can simply give them, say, these are where we need to place them, these are the art pieces that we've chosen. They can take that back to their meeting, they can talk about it, choose where they want to place those, and then those 2 can come back and give it back to you. And now we have placements.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And that would be staff's preference, absolutely.
That's
That
correct.
would be what?
Staff's preference, so that the public is able to see that report of the
That's
conversations
correct.
between the 2 subcommittees. It would be the best way. And I can also always provide anything you want me to provide to the commissions. As you know, I usually request that you don't respond to my emails. This is just for you to receive and file. So there's always that. So you always have me or your staff liaisons that can share information. We just can't discuss that information outside of the public meeting other than the subcommittees.
Yeah, okay.
I think that way they would be more involved in like,
I think it's great. I think
yeah,
that would be
yeah.
perfect.
But at the same time, you've got your control of selecting what it is, but they can say, hey, let's put this.
Placement.
Yeah.
And remember, one of the things that Sunshine hit on is important to know that with the bench project at the library and at the bridge project, the art that was originally delivered to us by each one of the artists was not necessarily the exact piece that went up onto these benches or onto the bridge. We talked to them about taking some things out, adding some things. Remember, some of them were very busy, and especially for the bridge, we didn't want it to be too busy. So we told, and we had people go back and bring us a second thought. So once we do choose these artists and we do like what they're doing, we can modify things that is going to be acceptable for all of us.
You just want to make sure you give yourself enough time, because if they submit a piece and you have to change something.
That's what I'm saying. So if we do this, what we're proposing, and we have these over the summer to look at, then if we come back to our regular meeting in September, then we still have that other month, right? To do that? Is that enough time?
That's correct, but I mean, at the same time, I don't think, like, I didn't see stuff that was too dark, like, the person who was in charge of it at the time, they were just like, it's too dark, we asked them to take a little bit off of it, and then she gave the update, like, at the meeting, and that's how it went forward, that's how it kept going. She didn't necessarily stop anything, but she was able to work with them to say, oh, this might be a 2, and that would be you and Crystal looking at those.
Okay.
And I think this timeline will work well. This gives us plenty of time.
Yep, you feel the same?
I think it's great,
Okay, cool. Okay. Any other questions?
yes.
Do we vote?
No, I've just got one more question. We are doing the budget for this, correct? Today? We're asking for the money?
Yeah,
for the
well,
budget?
we got to,
That
if
is
somebody
how
would
the
like to
staff
make a
report is written,
motion.
so yes,
Okay.
we could.
Approve it so we can get it.
Okay, so just a question for you, because this is more, I know that the commission already put 13.5 towards this, and that was approved. I don't remember what day that was approved on. So do we ask for the, I think it's like 1,000 some more on top of that, because we already approved it as a commission, correct?
So what I would suggest is that we approve the total amount,
Okay,
and what I'll do is I will reflect in the minutes the previous discussion, because this is going to be the total amount, correct? We're talking the
Yes.
16,150, the total. So I would put that on the record now, fresh as of today.
okay, and then
The budget's
do,
still coming from the budget, so, but that way we're very clear about.
okay, I just want to make sure that it's, we stay open on this, because we did put 13.5.
Yeah, I don't want to add 13 on top of this 16.
No, I'm not saying 13, I'm saying, like, well, when we go to make this motion, will we just ask for the 1,000 some be added to it? That way it makes it
So,
or whatever it is.
The council hasn't seen any numbers yet, so when we do present it to them, it'll be the first time.
That's correct. I understand council hasn't, but constituents have.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we are putting this in the record right, and that's why I'm asking. So just go back and do the full number, and then you'll go back and reflect it in this.
Absolutely, I can do
Okay.
that.
so with that, do you think that we ask for a little bit more, just in case there's something unforeseen?
Do you see anything unforeseen?
I mean,
I'm asking, just if y'all think.
I think that's a reasonable budget.
Okay.
And it's in line with what we've done historically, so.
Yeah, because, so for their paints and all that, like, is that included in that? Do they bring their own stuff? Like,
They bring their own supplies, which I've so far been letting people know that. So we are prepping the benches, getting everything ready, and then we're going to do that special sealant afterwards, but then they're responsible, especially if they're designed, they're going to have to bring whatever they're going to do to execute it.
yeah, then I don't see it going over, because you
Okay.
put the next bench in, so you moved it up, so I think it's good.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the budget as explained.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Then we are moving forward with the Ocotillo Bench Project with a total amount in the budget of $16,150. That includes a payment of $500 a bench per artist, and also for the staff to hire a special contractor to do a base paint on each one of the benches, and when the artwork is done, we will do a protectant sealant on there. Can we have a vote, please?
That's okay. So we do have I'm going to go ahead and I will specify this. So the motion was made by Commissioner Travis, and it was seconded by Commissioner Herrera, and motion carries all ayes.
Great, good job. Then we will move to the next item number 3, which is the quarterly art exhibit at the Cathedral City Library. At the February 13th Public Arts Commission meeting, Commissioner Travis introduced a proposal that the Public Arts Commission and the Cathedral City Library host a quarterly series of art exhibits at the library showcasing local artists from Cathedral City. Commissioner Travis especially wanted to afford the opportunity for artists who perhaps aren't represented or do not have galleries of their own to have the chance to show and sell their art. Commissioner Travis had already been in touch with the library director, and he identified dates the community room and the library would have that would be available. The proposed dates for the 3 shows for the remainder of 2024 are May 18th and 19th, August 24th and 25th, November 9th through 10th. Each event will run Saturday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., with the participating artists having the opportunity to load their artwork on Thursday before each event. At the last minute, the Commission unanimously voted to support the effort, and Commissioners Travis and Rudolph, there are no anticipated costs in hosting these events. The library is providing the facility for free. The city's communication division will market the events through the city's website and social media. At this time, are there any public comments on this item?
Chair, I did not receive any request to speak forms, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to comment on this item, please raise your hand. And I see none.
Do we have any comments from the Commission?
I just have a couple. I was watching the meeting back last time, and just in case there is any costs that come up, if you could come back before the board, just to let us know.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Right, and then also if there's any meetings with other past commissioners, that the past commissioners come here and they have the meeting in full, so all commissioners are able to ask them questions and just get more information. That's just what I'm asking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Greg?
I'm good. No
Good.
question? No.
Do you have any comments on it?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be kind of exciting, and it's a freebie one. It's kind of nice, and I think it's something that we can continue to do and bring art to have art live here in Cathedral City.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. With that in mind, I would like to move to give final approval to the quarterly art shows at the library. Do we have a second?
A second.
Can we have the vote, please?
Okay, we have a motion by Chair Rudolph and a second by Vice Chair Liebelt. Please vote. That's okay. That's why I like us to verbalize it. So we had a motion by Chair Rudolph, a second by Vice Chair Liebelt. Motion carries all ayes. Thank
Great.
you.
Someday we'll get that right. Right. So with that, I just want to say one thing. Rick and I will work on getting this first one up, but I hope that everybody on the commission takes part in it as a volunteer and becomes supportive of it. I think it'll be great. This is something that used to be done a lot here in the city, and we got out of the habit of doing it. We actually even had a gallery at one point here in City Hall. And where we did pretty much the same thing. And anything that we can do that's not going to take a lot of money, but yet give the commission a lot of exposure and the city a good name, I'm all for.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we're going to move to item number 4, which is the Public Arts Commission Budget and Grant Program, which I think we're all excited about. As you know, there's been 2 study sessions of the City Council that have addressed and looked at this. I hope that everybody on the commission got to see those because there was a lot of interesting insight by the council about how well this is going to work once it gets its final approval, which I think at this point is just formality. At least I hope so. At the last City Council meeting, the council directed the staff to establish an arts education program funded by the general fund instead of the Public Arts in Places Fund, which is the developer fund. Funding would be provided under 2 programs. A grant program similar to the City Council Community Grants Program. An application process will be developed. A Public Arts Commission will review and present to the City Council the applications turn the page. They would be awarded to the grants, and the City Council will consider and approve these final grants. A copy of the current grant application for Community Grants Program is attached to the staff report for everybody for reference. Then a general fund budget will be provided to the Public Arts Commission, similar to the budget provided to the Parks and Community Events Commission, to conduct commission-directed activities or recommendations for these event sponsors. Ann was president at the last meeting. I don't want to get into what everybody said, but like I said, it's important that maybe you all watch that special study. You can watch that on the Cathedral City TV. All you do is go on to the city webpage and go on to agendas, and you can see all of the TV videos that are there. But there was a lot of good feedback from the council's members in all different directions. We had one wanting something similar to the Sphere in Las Vegas, which would probably break the entire city's budget, but it was good to see that it was there. Also wanted to make sure that we had some heavy connection with the schools and the local youth, which is important. Also wanted to make sure that we stayed within these 2 new forms, the grant and the direct funding, away from things that we have heard in the past that the council did not like to approve, such as transportation to events, such as events that happen outside the city, where the city is not, it may be a member of the city that is performing or doing something, but it's not open to the city. So we want to make sure we try to stay into that criteria that we've heard in the past, because just like the Arts and Public Places funds, the city still needs to give full approval to these as long as any type of money is being used. But it does give us a lot more flexibility than we have had in many, many, many years. One of the things that both staff and the council wants to hear from us, and we can discuss this a little bit tonight if we like. If not, this is something, as Christina had pointed out, could be good homework for us to think about those criteria, those situations, those special type of items that can give us a framework, an outline for what we can decide as a commission and what can be presented to the council and approved. So at this point, I'd like people to talk about that, if you'd like. Thinking about, it's not really rules and regulations, but where we want to see this money used, that it's going to be effective. And once again, remembering that it can't be effective if it can't get approved by the council. So we want to make sure that, just like everything else that we present to the council, that everything is detailed, everything is thought out, and everything has a good, clear end to it that has a direct relation with the city and the city art scene. So at this point, if like to hear something from the PAC. Oh, are there any public comments on this first? I'm sorry.
I did not receive any requests to speak for us, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to comment on this item, please raise your hand. And I see none.
Okay, let's hear from the commission about these guidelines, these criteria, these proposals. Who'd ever like to go first is great.
People that are putting in, do they have to be a 501c3?
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
So which one of these would they use if they're not the 501c3?
The grant could be, I think that grant program, is going to be more for nonprofits or organizations. They don't have to, they're not going to be for profit. I don't think that we would get approval, but they would be similar to like the youth orchestra that we approved earlier that was denied. They would be similar to the scrap gallery funding that we usually give almost yearly. Isn't that true, Karen? Yeah, so where they have a project or an event. It could be for the Boys and Girls Club, it could be for the Senior Center, but it could be for somebody who wants to do something. For me personally, I can't see that going to line anybody's pockets. So we would have to review things if they're not a nonprofit. We'd have to review as a commission what it is that I would say would be something that would be obvious, where he wants to put an art show up for this reason, and you give me a justification why you want $2,500 for this. Is $2,000 going to administrative cost? Then that's not, I think, something that either the council or we should think about. I mean, this is just my opinion. Whereas the direct funding, the general fund money, we can do all kinds of different things with that. That has a lot more leeway. We can help produce a play. We can help produce a music concert, a dance concert. If there is ever a situation, and we continue with the library and these public art shows, where we want to buy some scaffolding or some type of, placement for the art that will be permanent there, that's where that money could come from. But I think that's a good point, Sunshine, that we want to make sure that these funds are funneled properly and with nobody gravying.
Well, the only reason why I brought that up is so if you're looking at the program that they got right now, it says applicants must be a nonprofit organization or a tribal or governmental agency. So is that something as a commission that we want to change? It says it must be a nonprofit. And these are things that we need to talk about, because if we're going to go off the same grant, right? And then on the bottom it says preference will be given to applicants meeting health and human service needs of underserved populations. So, I don't want to kind of lock us into having art that's just going to go to health and human
I think that was the grant application that the city used for the council, and that's why that wording is there.
Correct. So, this is the time where we're going to go through it and figure out what we want to do as a commission. Okay.
No, and that's definitely why I don't want us to decide everything tonight, to do a little homework, think about it over the month. But that's a very, very, very good point. And, it does say so there's tribal and there's school. So there's lots of, say there's a high school wants to, in their dance project at the Cathedral City High School in their dance program, they want to sponsor some event that will occur at a certain time using a certain theme, then that would be something that would be applicable for the grant money.
But that program that they want funding for must be done at the school or somewhere within Cathedral City, correct?
Sure. That's what the council would like.
Okay.
They really, I won't mention one of the councilors' names, but one of them, he was very specific about that.
I watched.
Yeah. So, and that's important, and that's great, because we've got a lot. We've got how many different venues here? We've got, 3 different stages. We've got the high school, we've got the amphitheater, we got Coachella Valley Rep, which is a nonprofit, where we can do a lot of things. Also, I can say that using the stage that we used for the Old Gays event at the Mary Pickford gave us a lot of flexibility there if we need something that doesn't have a deep house. So there's all different places that we can do live performance events, and always it's important. We have a lot of solid art, we have murals, we have sculptures, we have a lot of great things going on, but we got to try to expand the arts into the lively arts as well as the solid.
It's funny because I've been thinking about a couple whole different performing arts projects. And my other thought, though, too, was to do something where it's an installation, do a group of installations, but throughout the entire city, and having different artists come in and install them, but they're not necessarily permanent. And I just wondered how that would fit in there, if different artists would have to do that individually, if they do it as a collective, or...
Would that even come out of that fund? Is that something that the public arts wants to do out of the...
Yeah, it would. I would say that's part of the general fund money.
Not this.
Not the grant money. Unless it is...
This would be the general fund money, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Public arts fund would be the...
Are you guys thinking of are we putting the 30,000 together in a sense, like the 20 and the 10?
They have to be separate.
Okay, they're separate. Okay.
Yeah.
So would we just do a request for, I think that this sounds kind of weird, but whenever you get money given to you, you need to spend it. Otherwise, it won't be given to you again. So like, I would like to see all 20,000 be spent. And so what I was thinking is that we could put it out to the community, like once we get our criteria together as a nonprofit, whatever, that kind of thing, is that we would set it up as that we're going to do, I don't know, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. It was like, we're going to do 10 $2,000 grants, or we're going to do, $4,000 or $5,000, whatever we want to do. And we could set the criteria of what we might be looking for, but giving it enough flexibility for people to have initiative to come at us with something that we may not have thought of, and I was thinking that, but that way, like, we're reaching out to them. They have a timeline to get to us. We can get things, these are things that we can get done each year. It's kind of awesome, actually.
Funds do have to be used every year.
Yeah, and that's I'm an old teacher, and if you didn't use your whole budget, you didn't get it.
I think that's how the city does it now, right? Didn't they just close theirs for like 70 or something? So it was the same thing. You could put in, it was a time frame. Everybody just put in for whatever they wanted. They thought it was going to be or whatever. So, I think that's true. We definitely should do that.
Yeah, but I was thinking for us, it would make it more streamlined, because all we have to do is come up with more of a idea of what kinds of things we're looking for in our our outreach, our RFP, and then we see what people bring back to us, and then we can make a decision that way. And hopefully we'll have like a lot of people. Usually what happens is that you end up with more requests than you have money. But at least we have some good requests.
We have choices.
Yeah.
So going back to these requirements too, because I was thinking about that when it says that applicants may be based in Cathedral City or demonstrate they provide service. So I guess they provide services to residents of Cathedral City. Because again, I'm thinking going back to my days in Santa Fe, we had an incredible world-class opera that performed 5 operas every year, but we did not have a resident company. Those artists, the performers, singers, conductors, everybody came from all over the world every year. And that's what kind of also kept it fresh and exciting, because it was always a whole new cast, crew, everything.
Well, in that situation, you could use the CV rep, or you could use the Mary Pickford or whatever.
Understood, but when I looked at that was one of the requirements.
Yeah, so like the event would be here. The event would be here.
And I think we should try everything in our power to make sure that they're Cathedral City based. Because this is their tax money being used for their projects.
And I don't know, I have a different point of view about that, because there's only so much art coming out of Cathedral City-based places. So, I don't know if that's something that we want to bring back up to council, because our constituents do benefit from other, like you said, people coming in to bring different public arts into the city, right? Like, it expands just the mind and what our people here are seeing.
Like a visiting artist program?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because my thought is, I really would like to have a dance festival here. And there's not a dance company.
No, they're in Palm Springs.
But there's so many different kinds. I don't want, particular, there's other cities that do that. And that's the first thing I started thinking, and when I saw that, I was like...
But if we start hosting things like that, we will have it, because eventually they'll start... Yeah.
This is all good. This is what we need to talk about and decide. But like I said, I don't want to decide tonight. Christina's taking notes for us of ideas that we're throwing out, but we need to decide soon, perhaps next meeting, what our criteria needs to be. So.
Right, and so if we're going to do that next meeting, I think we are having the right discussions now, because we're not allowed to have discussions once we leave this meeting. Right. So
just
right.
So we're doing what we're
my
doing.
understanding, though, to remember that these are 2 different funds. So we will, for the grant program, we will go out and say to nonprofits, school agencies, tribal agencies, bring us the project you want to work, and here is the application. Fill this out, and we will review it. I believe staff has informed me that there will be a subcommission that will review each one of these and then bring them to the general commission at that point. So that is one aspect of it. That is, the Butterfly Festival. That is all the different things that we do around the community. They will come. The general fund money, are projects that we all want to promote. And we can do these as a subcommission. Say at the talent show would be a good example that went nowhere at this point because we knew that the council would not approve it. That would be an example of something that we could use for that general fund money to fund and produce. So these are two different things. We don't have to do a grant application for our general fund ideas.
I like that. So that would be the
So
10,000.
we're thinking about two different things here. So when you're processing this, keep that in mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to make that clear.
Salaries we're talking. Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
We're
You're good.
discussing.
Yeah, I
like you
think we're
said.
good.
Because sometimes Craig and I get stuff from Ann, during our agenda meetings that I always want to make sure it gets permeated down to everybody, so there is no confusion or.
But see, Tom, you keep saying, I keep looking at it, it says a general fund budget of 60, but that 60 is broken down into those three
Yes.
components.
They are, there's one of them is the grant, and one of them is our projects.
What I think is really nice is that with the grant, like whether, like, let's say we did 4,000 or 5,000, every year we'd have 4 projects
I know.
flipping done, that'd be
It would be
awesome.
great. If you look,
Yeah. And then, like you said, then we get those kind of requests that come in and that sound interesting. Then the
go
other.
back and look at all of the old agenda items from before the year 2018 that the Public Arts Commission had. They were doing love letters. Do you know what love letters is? The play that, it's a reading, that you get 2 celebrities or 2 council members together. They were doing poetry readings. They were doing all kinds of wonderful things that all went to the wayside. So those are all these things that our ideas side of the budget can facilitate again. So I think it's one of the most exciting things. As you know, Sunshine's been around almost as long as I have. The council has been battling with what they want to do for this is the third attempt to try to give us some definition of what it is that they want, and they're going to finally give it to us. So I think we should take advantage of it.
I think it's going to free us up, so we don't have to second guess as much. I like that. Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty exciting, and
So I want to also bring it to people's attention. I mean, it does say the general fund budget is 60,000, but 30 of that we don't do anything with because that's just maintenance. So it
Yes.
is 30,000 that we are going, and 20,000 is the grants, program. So, I mean, I think, like you said, we have 2 different things going on here. I think we do need to figure out what the commission can do with their 10, because you're correct, that's not going to go towards, a grant or whatever. And so I think that's one thing that we have to figure out. And again, the grant program itself, we have to figure out, there's certain things on this application that fundamentally needs to be changed. Like, I'm not really sure, me coming from a Native American background, as to why, a tribal agency is on here, because they're just another agency from somebody else that's coming and asking for money. So, I mean, my thought process is there shouldn't be any preference for that, and
maybe on the grant they were trying to reach out to them, and that's why they put it in there.
I'm just thinking that the city itself got a grant from somewhere else, and there was certain criteria that the grant had to be used, and that was probably one of
I
them.
see what you're saying.
This is kind of different, where we're making kind of our own grant. So, I mean, there's things that should come out of here. And then if we do, as a commission, want to give preference, I don't know who we'd give preference. Well, I mean, I guess we say, okay, if you're in the city, that's where we can bring that up. Like, we'll give preference to one of the organizations that's within the city bringing art. You get preference, right? We could go that route. And then still bring it to, if we want to bring something people out, like your dance or whatever. Just food for thought.
Good food.
It gives us structure.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like I said, it's the most exciting thing that's happened to the commission in a long time. So, okay, there is no formal action required on this. So we'll move on to staff comments. Assistant Manager Ambrose. Oh, Christina, anything from you?
So I just have a couple updates. So we are going into a new agenda management program. So we are going to be using a new agenda management program. So your screen will look different in front of you at our next meeting. We will be going live with council first. So we'll be able to work out all those kinks before it hits us live, but do look for something different the next time you see us, okay? The agenda should look pretty similar. We did work on the templates, but it could be a little different as well. I'll make sure you guys get that ahead of time so you can see any little different changes we might have on that, okay? That's all I have.
Great. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you helping us out to get through the meeting today. Okay, Commissioner comments. Commissioner Travis, would you like to start?
Sure. I had a really nice, a good meeting with Kirsten at the Cathedral City Library, and we reviewed the space and had ideas how we would like divide it up for the 10 artists, and so I think she's on board with that. It's going to be pretty exciting, so that's pretty good. On April 3rd, was fun to see the new, well, I'm going to call it the new park because I don't think it's going to be called the Dream Homes, but the new park that's coming on board is so funny. Like when you see it in a drawing and then you see it in real life, it is huge. It's like, and when you see it in a drawing, you think, oh, it's skinny, and it's not. It's huge. It's huge. It's going to be an awesome park. I think it's going to be so nice for the CV link because it's going to. The CV link is not there yet, and it doesn't have any destinations. Like this will be a destination to ride your bike to, and like let's hang out at the park and all that. That's pretty exciting. And then on April 6th, which has nothing to do with the commission, but it was pretty cool artistic-wise, I got to participate in the Great Day of Jazz in Coachella Valley, and there were over 50 jazz artists who had their picture taken right here at City Hall and those really nice steps behind us. And then there was a big jam session at the Roost, and it was like pretty amazing. I mean, if you're a jazz or blues person, that was the place to be. Yeah, so that was exciting. And then, and then at the park thing, I got my picture in the paper, which was just funny. So I photobombed it, I guess, is what they would say. Yeah. And then on the 7th, I went to the the Meatball Festival, which I'd never been to, and now I understand it. I couldn't understand what they were talking about really before, but now I get it. It was pretty cool. And then I got to be on Channel 4 with Nancy Ross. So just another photobombing opportunity that I didn't know I did, but so it's okay. But it's funny. Yeah. But it's been a great month, and I'm looking forward to working on the art projects. And whatever you need for Ocotillo, I'll be there to help out with that. So, great. Thank you.
Commissioner Herrera?
Yes, I would just like to put it out there that Invisible Wounds, it's a veteran event that's taking place this Saturday. It will start at 7, and it'll be ending around 3 o'clock. SCAP Gallery is actually doing a piece called Art 22 Project. Bring your kids out, come out yourself, come do a piece, and come bring some very much awareness to veterans' PTSD and suicide awareness, because we are losing 22 of them a day. That's it.
Great, thank you. Greg?
Yes, March, April in the Coachella Valley. Lots of things have been going on. Lots of great gallery openings. Like Rick, I thoroughly enjoyed the Jazz Festival. The Jazz Jam, and didn't expect the range of music and musicians. One of them I spoke to came from Oakland, doesn't live here, so they came from not just here. And just the range and the sound, it was pretty extraordinary, and such a labor of love of Sue Townsley in 10 years of getting this put together. But that inspiration, Tom, what you just said about in the past, about other kinds of cultural events here that used to take place, and it was inspired me because everybody knows, like in the past, I've been very connected to the dance world. So the fact that I've been watching this few studios start to emerge and evolve here, so that got me really forward thinking about doing some sort of dance festival, even if we have to start small, to begin with, to make that happen here. And just watching, and I did see that Palm Desert is doing soon their version of a talent show. So, and they've been doing it for 25, 26 years, so it's interesting to see that it happens in other places. And again, every time we do something my awareness more and more that and it continually amazes me how much is going on here in the Valley. And it's really now I keep opening, and then it's just more and more and more. And I like that it's becoming such a culturally rich place in so many diverse ways, and we really have to harnessing that. I'm seeing that progression. So, other people have been coming to me with ideas, and I think that there's lots of interesting things that we can do. So, my wheels are definitely turning. This has been a great sort of inspirational couple months, just watching the level of the shows and the quality of what I've been seeing, and watching the participation levels, like last week, having for the Dreamboats here in the park, they had 650 people show up. So that's pretty extraordinary, and I'm hoping they have a great turnout tonight. I'm sorry. We actually will have a little bit of time to go and check it out a little bit too. So just excited about the movement. And what's interesting, I've spoken with a couple of the council members, and it's when you go, I kind of fluid, go up and down the valley from Palm Springs, Palm Desert, everywhere. And when I talk about the things that are going on in Cathedral City, they go, yeah, I keep hearing, wow, there's some really cool, like this event, there's just something happening there. And this is what we're all striving for, right? That we can be the cool kids, and that we have the range, the awareness things that we're doing, the educational things that we're doing. So it's something for everybody. And so it's just excited to be a part of that. Thank you.
Quickly, I just want to remind everybody that the last show of the season at Coachella Valley Rep is going to be opening next week. Nice Work, if you can get it, which is old Gershwin songs that were never in other shows put together in a new script in this show. So you get to hear the best of all of his music, not that anything was bad. So it's very exciting that they're also selling out like they did Cabaret and the Fantastics. So they've already added a second weekend, so make sure you get all your tickets for that. And just like them and everybody else, please support your local artists. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much. The Public Arts Commission meeting for this evening has ended. Thank you.